Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Residents in the Central Highlands are facing a nervous night as firefighters battle a number of bushfires burning near Tarraleah. John Hunt joins us now with the details. John, what's the latest?
Kim, it's been a busy day for firefighters after multiple bushfires broke out near D. Currently, there's a bushfire emergency warning for D, with those in the area told to seek shelter immediately. Watch and acts are in place at Tarraleah, Brady's Lake, Victoria Valley and surrounding areas, with residents warned to be prepared to leave. Scorching temperatures, bone-dry vegetation and strong winds have fanned the flames, with the fires reportedly breaking containment lines multiple times. Smoke is billowing south and can be seen from kilometres away from the fireground. More than a dozen aircraft are battling blazes from the sky, along with crews from the TFS and Sustainable Timber Tasmania on the ground. Such is the danger of the conditions, the TFS say they're just trying to contain it for now. 5 fires burning concurrently are posing a challenge.
It's not normal, particularly we haven't had any indication that lightning was involved in the ignition, but the investigator will work through all the possible causes.
Now, a cool change is expected to pass through the region later tonight with hopes it will help ease the situation. But Kim, it's fair to say there's still plenty of nervous moments ahead over the next few hours.
It certainly does sound that way. Thank you very much there, John Hunt, nearby. Well, meanwhile, several Tasmanian towns have recorded their hottest day this summer, with temperatures soaring to above 35 degrees. The Hobart City bushland reserves were closed to the public due to the extreme fire risk. Many Tasmanians instead beelining to the beaches for some cool relief.
Hot, dry and windy, a dangerous trio keeping Southern Emergency Services busy.
This is without a doubt the most significant fire weather day we've seen in Tasmania for a couple of years.
Extreme fire danger ratings recorded in Hobart, Campania, Grove and Bushy Park, where temperatures soared above 35 degrees.
There's always that risk around Hobart, on the urban fringe particularly, as everyone's aware. We have a lot of vegetation come right up to the suburbs. We do have additional resources on standby.
The city of Hobart closing its bushland reserves due to the heat.
That's a preventative measure to ensure that there aren't people walking or riding up in the mountain areas or up in our bushland areas and may not know about an impending fire.
A total fire ban is in place until Saturday morning and is likely to be reassessed. Tasmanians and tourists flocking to Long Beach to escape the scorching conditions.
Gonna have a dip in the water, hopefully don't get too burnt, but
yeah, get in the water, have a splash, that's it. What else can you do on a day like this?
The water is gorgeous at the moment, nice and cool and
refreshing.
Yeah, refreshing.
We're from the UK, we just come on the Royal Princess. We're here for the day and thought we'd come to the beach because it was so hot.
Relief is on the way with a cool change expected later this evening. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
A mop-up is underway at St Helens after a freak storm hit our east coast. Thousands of properties were left without electricity, with lightning strikes damaging power poles.
While St Helens streets were inundated yesterday, today was the calm after the storm. 150 millimetres of rain lashing the township, leaving the Anchor Wheel Motel out of action for now.
Got to the extent and the depth where we couldn't barricade it from the rooms. And then we lost it, and water was just pouring into the rooms to the tune of probably 3-4 inches in the room.
All 9 units flooded, bookings cancelled for at least 4 weeks. Other properties had to be evacuated after waters rose, coming up from underneath houses.
Went through the shower drain. We had to get a lot of towels to block it up.
At St Helens Marine Rescue, a lightning strike took out the main aerial, wiping out the squad's communications and their ability to guide vessels safely.
Hello, all ships, all stations.
I had a phone call from a yachtsman this morning. He wants to come into St Helens. He's around at Billabong Bay. And I said, well, I can't tell you what's going on with it because we've lost everything.
Restoring full communications expected to cost $36,000. Crews today restoring power. Businesses not the only ones affected by the floodwaters. School closed today while it dries out. The Mayor says existing infrastructure was unable to cope with the storm event.
The water just can't get away no matter how much infrastructure you have, but the moment it stops, it's disappeared.
Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
The Liberals have promised to stump up the $20 million needed to build 3 Derwent ferry terminals if returned to power on March 23. Public transport is still an election campaign focus. So too a controversial Liberal candidate in Bass.
Happy to receive shots and take them.
He wants to have Dr Sladen legislating healthcare policy and legislation in our parliament. How low have his standards dropped?
Jeremy Rockliff's backing of COVID vaccine critic Dr Julie Sladen under fire from all angles, including the Australian Medical Association, which says it undermines the government's pandemic handling.
No, I don't believe that. The pandemic response by the Tasmanian government was the best in the country, and I'm very proud of that.
Rough waters for HMAS Liberal, its skipper backing the Derwent ferry service. Committing $20 million and putting a 4-year timeline on building new terminals at Sandy Bay, Wilkinson's Point and Lindisfarne.
The true success of public transport is consistency and reliability and accessibility. And the more trips that can be made, obviously the better for commuters.
300,000 passengers so far since the trial started, and we're really looking forward to carrying a lot more in the future.
Also committing to 3 new park and ride public transport facilities in the north of the state and a new northern bus transit centre. It follows both major parties agreeing to half-price bus fares for a year. Some want it to go further.
If we're going to get serious about the cost of living and getting cars off the road and emissions, we need to be able to do it for the 4-year term.
Halving fares only halves the issue. It's only half of the solution. We want to see public transport genuinely free.
The government's been forced to hose down concerns about a GP tax from medical stakeholders, who say a new law interpretation could leave them liable for payroll tax, pushing prices up and limiting access.
We've been asking for, in Tasmania, an exemption from payroll tax on our contracted GPs, but we haven't had any clarity or surety on this.
We're not making any changes to current circumstances.
There's a week until nominations close, and there could be one surprise in Franklin. Clarence Mayor and Liberal Party stalwart Brendan Blomley isn't ruling out an independent tilt.
As to I continue as Mayor or in another place, that's yet to be determined, but be assured I will continue to fight for the best interests of Hobart's Eastern Shore.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, the City of Hobart has flagged improved infrastructure on Canunny Mount Wellington as one of its selection priorities. Largely funded by local council, members want to see the government invest $35 million in basic amenities.
There's about 400,000 people using the mountain every year, and that's projected to increase to 700,000 within a few years.
Wellington Park sits outside the standard park and reserve framework in Tasmania. In the absence of those conventional income streams, we do need to seek additional funding to make sure that we are able to keep up to speed with those other reserves.
Housing, climate action, sports facilities and public transport are also deemed advocacy priorities. D-Day is fast approaching for the big reveal of the name, logo and colours for the new Tassie AFL team. March 18 is a date to put in your diary, with announcements to be made simultaneously at 6 community events around the state in Devonport, Launceston, Queenstown, St Helens, Hobart and Oatlands from 6 p.m. You'll need to reserve a free ticket to get in. They'll be released on Monday week. And if you can't make it, we'll of course bring you all the excitement as it happens here on 7 Tasmania Nightly News. To another footy code, and A-League matches are now a possibility at Kingborough's Lightwood Park after major upgrades, including broadcast standard lights. Thanks to funding from all 3 levels of government, the new facilities include 8 change rooms and an improved pitch.
We're still just working on some refinements there with our irrigation, but our pitch is now at FIFA standard. The beautiful thing is there's a legacy here for the community, and we are a community club.
The funding was secured in the lead-up to the FIFA Women's World Cup. Our first story this break, and a third man has been charged with drug trafficking in connection to Tasmania's largest methamphetamine and cocaine bust. Police seized significant quantities of the two drugs in December last year after intercepting a vehicle and vessel in the state's north and charged two men. A 38-year-old Blackmans Bay man was arrested this morning, with authorities seizing 10 firearms. He was bailed to face court in May. Jazz fans are in for a treat with the state's longest-running music event back for its 28th year. Featuring around 120 artists and more than 50 free performances, the Clarence Jazz Festival is moving to a hub model at Rosny Park, making it easier for attendees to enjoy all styles of the genre.
Every year it's an opportunity for us to suss where the scene is and also to get a taste for all the new sounds, new voices that are coming through.
We've got 3 days of free, wonderful live music, plus a fourth day, which is super affordable.
The family-friendly event will run for 5 days from February 28.
The Tigers are counting their blessings for a string of home Sheffield Shield matches as they fight for a spot in the final, while Elise Villani is busy keeping her colleagues grounded as the reigning WNCL premiers wait to vie for their three-peat. One last training session in an empty Blunston Arena, which the Tigers hope will be full on Saturday as they attempt to extend their reign.
They are not getting complacent. They know that the pressure's on them.
Injury clouds seem to be clearing, skipper Elise Villani likely to play, and the competition's leading wicket-taker Molly Strano training today, improving chances she'll be fit for Saturday.
Even if she's 80%, I think we've got to go with her still because she's that valuable. We will go on how she feels. She knows she won't want to let the team down, so if there's any doubt in her mind that she's going to do that, she would pull herself out.
The men, meanwhile, have a crucial test ahead of them against Victoria in the run to the Sheffield Shield final. Tasmania still leading the ladder by the slimmest of margins after a draw with Western Australia.
Victoria, they're right up our heels on the ladder, so we're not looking any further than this one.
A double century over the weekend, proof that Julie is coming into form at the right end of the season.
I think it just sort of clicked for me. Obviously, I was luckily got dropped on 0, which helped, and that sort of made my mind up that I was going to get after him pretty aggressively.
Victoria will be a tough opponent, but rounding out the season with 3 matches at Blunston is a huge tick in the Tigers' favour.
I think we're all sick of travelling, so we know this ground like the back of our hands. So, yeah, definitely a big advantage, having 3 in a row.
And the Trident's finals chances have taken a huge step forward at the BPL this afternoon. Rowdy Rod McMullen on fire in the first set, where Tassie looked to be taking control.
Oh, there it is. That's huge. Double them up. How quick does the game change?
At second place, WA owned the second set. The Tridents keeping cool heads, though, to claim the tiebreak.
It's been really hot today, so we'll get a chance to rest tonight and give it our all for our 2 games tomorrow and try and push for finals.
They need to beat the third place Moreton Bay Pirates tomorrow morning.
Good evening. 35 in Hobart today, Launceston reaching 31, 26 across Devonport and Birdie. 36 was the state's top in Grove, Lowhead 24 and 32 in Flinders Island. Across the state today shows mid to high level cloud moving towards the east, revealing some blue skies. Further out shows areas of low level cloud over southern coastal WA and South Australia, with thunderstorms seen over Queensland. Tomorrow, a cool air stream is seen over Tasmania, with showers across the west and far south. West to southwesterly winds tomorrow, 20 to 30 knots, reaching 35 knots in the south. Swells up to 6.5 metres in the west and south and up to 2.5 metres in the north. A gale warning is current for the east coast and southwest coast, and a strong wind warning for Frederick Henry Bay, Norfolk Bay, Storm Bay, Channel, Flinders Island, the upper east coast and the central west coast. Tomorrow's forecast now: Hobart and Campania cloudy, reaching 20 degrees, a shower or 2 in Huonville. In the north, Launceston and Devonport partly cloudy, 21 in Georgetown. Cloudy in Burnie and Wynyard tomorrow, showers in Strahan. St Helens, mostly sunny, 23 in Swansea, and a possible late shower in Port Arthur. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now: Saturday, fine apart from light morning showers across the west and far south. Sunday, light showers developing about the west during the day, extending towards the south in the evening. And Monday, fine apart from possible light showers about the west and northeast. Capital cities 39 and mostly sunny in Perth tomorrow. Adelaide 23 and showers in Sydney. And currently Hobart 32 degrees, hot and sunny, Launceston 26 and Devonport 23 and partly sunny. That is all in weather tonight, Kim.
It is still warm out there, and just a reminder too about that total fire ban in the south. That does wrap up the bulletin for tonight. We'll have updates later. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Good night.